Is living in Australia becoming too difficult? Australia has long held a global reputation as a land of opportunity, offering sunny skies, a high quality of life, and economic stability. It's been a go-to destination for skilled workers, students, and families seeking a better future. But more and more Australians and migrants are now quietly asking, is living in Australia becoming too difficult? Behind the postcard-perfect scenery lies a more complex picture, one shaped by rising costs, housing pressure, and growing stress on public services. In this video, we take a balanced look at the challenges of living in Australia today and what's driving the shift in perception. 1. Housing affordability is becoming a serious concern. The housing crisis in Australia has made home ownership increasingly elusive. In cities like Sydney and Melbourne, median house prices have climbed beyond $1 million. Even in regional towns, once considered an affordable alternative, property values have surged by more than 30% over the last few years. This trend is pushing many young Australians to delay buying a home, live with family longer, or relocate to more remote regions. In some cases, individuals and families are looking overseas for affordable living options. First home buyers are often priced out of the market, even with savings and government assistance schemes in place. The Australian rental market is also under pressure. Vacancy rates remain low, competition is high, and asking rents continue to rise. In suburbs across Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide, bidding wars have become common, making it even harder for lower-income tenants to secure housing. 2. Wages are struggling to keep up. Australia's overall economy may appear stable, but wage stagnation is a growing concern. In 2024, wages increased by just over 3%, while inflation soared beyond 6%. This gap means workers are effectively earning less in real terms. Rising prices in nearly every category – groceries, fuel, transport, insurance – are forcing Australians to stretch every dollar. Despite working longer hours or taking on extra jobs, many households are still struggling to meet monthly expenses. Across sectors, workers are reporting heavier workloads without corresponding pay increases. Healthcare professionals, teachers, and hospitality workers have raised concerns about burnout and insufficient recognition. Advocacy groups and unions are calling for wage reviews and stronger protections for casual and gig economy workers, many of whom lack job security or consistent income. 3. The cost of essentials is rising rapidly. The cost of living in Australia is no longer limited to big cities. It's a national issue. Essentials such as bread, milk, fruit, and vegetables have all increased in price. A carton of milk that once cost around $1 can now exceed $3. Fuel prices are also high, and many regions lack public transport alternatives. Supermarkets cite supply chain disruptions and inflation, but the public has voiced frustration as corporate profits rise. At the same time, utility costs for electricity, gas, and water have gone up significantly, especially during hot summers or cold winters when usage spikes. Healthcare is another essential under pressure. While Medicare provides basic access, bulk billing GPs are becoming less common. Dental care, specialist services, and prescription medications often involve out-of-pocket costs that can deter people from seeking timely help. Families are increasingly budgeting down to the last dollar, cutting out small luxuries, delaying dental appointments, or relying on food banks. Even financially stable households are becoming more cautious with spending. 4. Public services are under pressure. Australia's public services, health, education, and transport are experiencing increasing demand and resource limitations. Hospitals in particular are under significant strain. Emergency department wait times can exceed 12 hours, and access to elective surgeries may involve months-long delays. Nurses, doctors, and hospital staff have expressed concerns about exhaustion and underfunding. Many facilities are dealing with outdated equipment, limited beds, and staff shortages. In the education sector, public schools face teacher shortages, growing student populations, and stretched resources. Regional and remote schools often rely on short-term teaching staff, impacting continuity and quality of education. Public transport is another area of concern. In some cities, infrastructure hasn't kept up with growth, leading to overcrowding and service disruptions. In outer suburbs and regional towns, service coverage is sparse, leaving many residents dependent on private vehicles and facing higher fuel and maintenance costs. Local councils, libraries, aged care centers, and community mental health services have also raised alarms over funding gaps and rising demand. 5. Renting is becoming increasingly difficult. The Australian rental market has reached record-high prices in many cities. Weekly rent in some inner suburbs exceeds $600, and availability is scarce. Prospective tenants often attend open homes with dozens of others, only to be outbid by higher offers. Beyond the price, renters are experiencing instability. No-grounds evictions are becoming more frequent, and many families report receiving notice with minimal warning. Rent hikes, sometimes hundreds of dollars per month, can occur without major property improvements. Emergency and social housing waitlists continue to grow. According to recent figures, some families are on waitlists for years, while shelters report being at or near capacity. Vulnerable Australians, especially low-income earners, students, single parents, and elderly individuals, are among the most affected. Even middle-class households are now describing themselves as rental-stressed, spending more than 30% of their income on rent. This trend is reshaping how and where Australians live, and adding new pressures to family life and financial planning. 6. Mental health challenges are increasing. With financial pressure, job insecurity, and housing stress, mental health in Australia is increasingly under the spotlight. Around 1 in 5 Australians now experiences a mental health condition each year, but access to care is still a challenge. Public mental health services often have long wait times, and while private therapy may be faster, it's not financially viable for many. Support programs like Beyond Blue, Headspace, and Lifeline are playing critical roles, but they also rely on limited funding. Young Australians, in particular, are showing higher rates of anxiety, depression, and emotional distress. Social isolation, academic stress, and uncertainty about the future are contributing factors. In workplaces, mental health-related leave is on the rise, and burnout is no longer rare. Some employers are introducing mental health support initiatives, flexible working hours, and employee assistance programs. Still, experts stress the need for systemic changes, including more funding, better access to early intervention, and integration between health, housing, and employment services. 7. Government responses are in progress. Addressing the challenges of living in Australia requires multi-layered action. Governments at both state and federal levels have introduced various initiatives: rent relief, infrastructure investment, wage reviews, and mental health funding to help ease current pressures. For example, the National Housing Accord aims to build thousands of new affordable homes over the next few years. Other policies target education, energy rebates, and increased Medicare access in regional areas. However, turning these policies into real on-the-ground improvements takes time. Many Australians feel that while plans are in place, day-to-day life hasn't changed significantly. Delays in delivery, budget constraints, and changing political priorities have made some initiatives slower than expected. Still, experts remain cautiously optimistic. If efforts continue with proper oversight, public input, and targeted investment, there's hope that current pressures can ease over time and lead to a more balanced future. 8. A changing perspective on the lucky country. Australia has often been dubbed the lucky country due to its wealth of natural resources, democratic stability, and high standard of living. But for many today, that label doesn't fully reflect the lived experience. Despite strong international rankings in education, healthcare, and safety, a growing number of Australians feel they're working harder just to keep up. Rising costs, housing insecurity, and strained services are making life more complex, even for those with full-time jobs and stable housing. That said, Australia remains a nation of resilience. Communities continue to show strong social bonds, generosity, and a desire to improve. The national conversation is shifting. More people are talking about systemic issues, long-term reforms, and creative solutions. Being the lucky country is still possible, but it may require new ways of thinking about success, fairness, and sustainability. 9. How Australians are adapting. In the face of rising challenges, many Australians are finding creative and practical ways to adapt. From cost-sharing arrangements to community-led support networks, people are adjusting their lifestyles and expectations. More households are choosing to live in multi-generational homes to share costs and childcare responsibilities. Others are embracing tiny house living or relocating to more affordable regional areas where remote work has become a viable option post-pandemic. Budgeting apps, online trading platforms, and second-hand markets like Facebook Marketplace are helping people save money and avoid unnecessary purchases. Community gardens, food cooperatives, and buy-nothing groups are also gaining popularity, especially in urban centers. Work-wise, Australians are increasingly diversifying their income streams, taking on freelance gigs, remote side hustles, or participating in skills-sharing platforms. Many are also prioritizing mental well-being with a growing focus on mindfulness, outdoor exercise, and digital detoxing. These grassroots efforts may not solve every problem, but they highlight a resilient spirit and a growing awareness that collective challenges require collective creativity. So, is living in Australia becoming too difficult? For many, yes. But with smart policies, public investment, and community support, these challenges are not permanent. Australia still holds great potential. What's needed now is focus, fairness, and follow-through to ensure the country remains livable for everyone. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.